Okay, and we are recording. Okay, go ahead, Jill, take it away.
All right, so can you tell us what your studio story is?
My studio story?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been here for 6 years, and we had a bunch of stylists that were very busy stylists and very productive. About 2 years ago, everybody started having babies, moving out of state, and just, growing families. And so we lost a bunch of stylists. So the last year, it's just haven't been able to find new stylists. And I'm like, if the owner doesn't start doing some stuff, this place ain't gonna stay open. And I seen that she could do it, so why could I not do it? So it was kind of one of those things that if I don't take the chance now, then I may never take the chance, and I may not. It's just after doing hair for 21 years, I felt like I needed a little more challenge and change things up a little bit for me. So, but like I said, I only technically became the owner March 1st of this year. So technically I've only had 3 weeks of running the business. And so luckily it's not too crazy with bills or anything like that, but it's going to hold me back definitely from finding new stylists, because now, right now I don't see stylists coming in to want to change their work spot because they've been off for so long. So that's going to be my big challenge, is now I really probably won't be able to hire new people until things get flowing again. And that's what I really need to do, is hire some new stylists. We normally have room for 6 stylists, and so there's only 3 of us right now. So if I could get 2 more stylists, then I know things will work out, and I'll be here for 2 years.
So how has COVID affected your employees?
Well, because they're technically not my employees, because they are self-employed. They rent the booth from me. So we're booth rental. So I don't give them W-2 forms or anything like that. But they are also young. They're 19 years old. And so they don't have that other income from a spouse or savings or anything like that. Luckily, I feel like I'm not charging them booth rent, so they're not going to worry about paying me, because I feel like, well, I could still pay my bills for the salon, that I don't need to burden them. And they're worried too, because they haven't had their clientele as long as I have. So it's hard to say how many clients of theirs are going to rush back in when this is all over, because people are still going to be afraid of all the germs and everything like that too. So they're not technically rushed as much, because they're not as familiar with their stylist as long, to where my clients are. I've been doing them for 15 or more years. So they're comfortable with me. They know that everything will be safe and clean here and all that. So I do worry about that a little bit with them. Or it could be complete opposite, that we have an overflow of clients all at once, whether it's new people at that, and we ended up working 6 days a week, very long hours, and draining ourselves, because we've made no money for the last 4 weeks. So we want to just make our money so we can catch up with all of our stuff. So that's my other kind of worry with them too, is I don't want them to work themselves to death.
How did COVID previously affect your business, with the weeks leading up to it and then the closing down of non-essentials?
We had some cancellations, especially with some of the older clients. They canceled because, they just didn't want to be out in it. But yeah, in some ways, especially with teachers and stuff, we were able to get them in a little bit more, like one more time, because they had that little bit of extra time, and they were like, yeah, let's do it today instead of, 2 weeks from now. So it kind of evened it out a little bit, but it's still, it slowed down a lot too. We didn't have the new calls booking your appointments and stuff, but it was still, I was glad we were able to go a week longer than what some salons were able to. Some of the bigger salons had to close sooner than what a smaller one would.
So what are you guys doing now to get by?
Well, today I just posted about just offering a curbside pickup for products, or porch pickup. So I was gonna, if they want to order something, I'll drive it to their house and drop it on their porch, email them an invoice for products. I didn't do it right away because I felt like it was kind of still defeating the purpose of being out there. But I also feel like I've been cooped up for a very long time, and I feel like to drop somebody's product off on the porch, I feel like that doesn't really necessarily spread it as much. Or if they came to pick it up, I can email them an invoice so they can pay online. So that means, still no, I don't have to take their card or anything like that. So we'll see how that goes. I figured if I sell a little bit, it'll just help, put money in the bank and stuff. So that way it's there for when we're ready. I did get the stimulus check today, so that's pretty much saved us, really. I feel like everything will be, as long as we get to go back to work in May, I feel like everything will be just fine. But unemployment, still dealing with that, and kind of just want to forget that and not even deal with it anymore. But the stimulus check really helped a lot.
So I kind of want to go back to those weeks leading up to the closing of non-essential businesses. What was running through your mind when you got that information where you had to close down?
I was trying not to panic. I know one of my stylists, she was actually gone in Florida. So luckily she made it back in time before we had to close, but she was really nervous about working. And then the other stylist, she worked, and I told her, I said, it's up to you if you're comfortable working. I mean, I can understand not taking new clients because we just didn't know them. But with our regular people, we knew like which ones, did work, or which ones don't work, or stuff like that. So it's a little bit more, they were more honest. I was, we're not around anybody sick or anything like that. And it was trying to just not panic, because if I panicked, then everybody panics. And, so I tried to remain calm, and I still tried to look at the brighter side of things, that when we do get to go back to work, it is going to be a different world, and I feel like it's going to be a lot more opportunities for us in all businesses, because we definitely will appreciate the outside world a little bit more. And money will be tight, but I think it'll be good coming out of it.
My final question is, how do you think that COVID is going to affect the overall future of your salon business?
From what I've been listening to with some of our, there's been a lot of education videos online through Paul Mitchell and stuff like that. Some of the big worries are just basically how we schedule our appointments. Sometimes we schedule like a color and then have somebody in a processing time, and we might have some stylists I've seen have 3-4 clients at the same time, where now might not be the time. They might, what if they say there's a limit of how many people you have in your building, just like with grocery stores right now. Because even that week leading up, it was saying 10 or less people, and I'm like, well, we usually have less than 10 people in the salon at the time. So we were definitely making sure we were keeping the numbers of people in there. But when you have everybody wanting in at the same time, it's really going to be hard to explain to them that I can't book you in this processing time because it's just too many people at once. And we got to, people might be thinking about that. We got to think about everything that clients do touch, you know, magazines. I got rid of magazines because you can't really sanitize magazines. I got to find more hand sanitizers to make sure there's bottles of sanitizer everywhere now. We use barbicide, which is what we're supposed to use for our cleaning of our tools and to spray our stations down and stuff like that. And we just did a course on that, on a refresher of how long we have to let that sit on our station, you know, for like 10 minutes is that contact time. And it's like, okay, we got to schedule our day so there's enough time in between to make sure that's getting that full sanitized station, you know, and stuff like that. So that will be hard when you have, you know, 100 clients wanting in the next 2 weeks, and it's sometimes like Christmas, because a lot of times all your clients want in before Christmas, and you end up squeezing this one in, squeezing that one in. Well, we might not be able to, because there might be a standard where it says, you know, you can only have this many people in our building. And when we're a small salon, it's 800 square feet, so I mean, it really doesn't give us a lot of space for a whole lot of clients. And if there's 3 of us and there's you know, a client for each stylist, you know, that's pretty much our max. So it'll be interesting to see what they say about that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna hit you with just a couple more real quick. Was it your dream to own a salon?
No, it wasn't. It was the number one thing when I went to hair school. I said, I'm never owning a salon. That's going to be a pain in the butt. But I have to say, working with my stylists, who are both 19, almost 20, they really have showed me that, you know what, it's different now. I feel like these girls want to work. They, you know, I feel like there was this age group in the 20s where I'd see stylists where they just didn't want to work. But these girls really want to work. And I'm like, if I can just find just this good handful of team, like what we used to, I had really big shoes to fill of the other stylists, but they all left because, you know, growing families. And, you know, it's just, it was not because they hated it here. It was just growing family, you know, they grew. So I feel like if I just got to find the right stylist, and I should be able to do this. And it's not, I've done the hair thing for so long. I realize I do have a lot of info that I can give and help and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just more blown away by how 2 young stylists can work so hard and be so motivating too. It's the motivation, right? They're not Debbie Downers, you know, they're not like, oh, woe's me. Like usually that's what you get. But these girls, they made me realize that if I don't do something now, they're going to be gone, and because they'll have to move on. And I'm like, I don't want them to move on. I want to work with people that I like. So I may as well offer the owner that, hey, can I buy this from you now? Because it's not really here you know, doing anything. She didn't do hair. So she finally said, yeah, let's do it. I'm done. I got grandkids and a mother to take care of and stuff like that. And actually she's stuck in Florida right now. So she went to Florida right before all this, and now she's stuck in Florida. So it was good timing, I feel like, because it's just gives me all these new opportunities to really start running with this business.
And how long have you been in this business?
It'd be just over 21 years of doing hair.
All right. And listen, no owner has ever had to deal with something like this. You couldn't have anticipated this. What was that like when all of a sudden now there was something new that you had to deal with?
I think what makes it feel better is that it's not just me. It's not because I'm being lazy and I don't want to go to work today. It's because the government says no. So I feel like it's new for everybody. And and what, what's the worst that can happen? I feel like it's worth taking chances, because it's a worse feeling having the regret of not trying. So I'm glad I'm trying this, and I'm like, if anything, if we make it through this, I know then I can make it through anything.
Are you, is there a fear that this will drag on and it'll take you under?
There is, and if there is, then I feel like then I will cross that bridge when it happens. I feel like if we can go back to work at least in May, then everything will be fine. But if it's something that does drag on until like June, July, then it's not going to work out, because we already got the stimulus check, so I don't see them sending out more of that. So, but if it did go out longer than that, I would have to say it would probably hurt, unless I come to an agreement with the owner of the building. And, they, like with my girls, I'm not charging them booth rent. So, I feel like since I do have the money, I'm not going to try to bargain with him now, because I feel like, well, you know what, if I do need the help, then he'll say, oh, you did pay at this time when it was at the roughest. I can help you now, so I feel like I want to show him that, especially being new at paying the lease. It's only been my third payment that I've made today. So I feel like I want him to show that you can count on me, that I'm going to be here, as I'm not going anywhere unless, they tell me, no, you can't.
Are you finding that your first of all, your employees and your vendors and your lease owner, are they working with you? Are you finding good things or bad things? How's that going?
Well, like our vendors, we like order our products through Monaco Blue. When we're a Paul Mitchell focused salon, and I've heard that we will be getting like a stimulus package from Paul Mitchell with color and products that will kind of help us, which that will be great. I haven't heard exactly what it consists of or what level or whatever, but the education and stuff that they both have been putting online, it's just blown me away. I can't stop watching it or listening to it, the podcast. And I'm thinking, man, if we had this technology back 21 years ago in here at school, I couldn't believe it. I just blown away. And it's just amazing how, a little person can say, just comment on their things, and they'll be like, oh, wonderful, heart this and that, they answer back. And these are big Paul Mitchell people, So I feel very lucky of having a good distributors and being part of the Paul Mitchell Focus Salon, because it really benefits us a lot, I think.
What of your two employees, your two stylists, what have they said to you? Are they worried, or what's the conversations like with them? And especially when you had to tell them we got to close.
They were worried. They knew it was coming, because still being young, they have their parents telling them all this stuff too that's going on. So I was trying to be that, remain calm. Like it's not just you. You are not going to be the only one that can't pay your bills. There's going to be options for us. They can't just say, no, you're not making money, because you're closed and all that. I knew there was going to be opportunities with the unemployment and stuff like that. But with that, it's also very confusing and tiring. I really I'm still very not trustful of it. It's like I'm entering all this information 1,000 times and still not knowing what I'm doing, and of course you can't get answer when you call or anything like that. So sometimes I kind of wonder if that's even worth dealing with. But for them, it's still trying to get them to at least they can get it. That would be great. But just being self-employed, it's just so draining of how you got to prove everything and like that. But because normally you don't get that when you're self-employed.
Okay. I just got a couple more and I think we'll be done. The stimulus you talked about, is that small business stimulus or is that the personal one? You're talking about?
No, this is the personal one. I didn't apply for any small business ones because a lot of those were to cover payrolls. I don't have a payroll. The stylists get paid by their clients. They're the ones that have to keep track of what they make and what they turn in for their income tax and stuff like that. So they're not on my payroll. And I didn't want to get stuck with a loan that I have to pay back because, and plus I knew I had that little extra money that I could still keep it afloat. And like I said, if it does go on longer than May or June, July, then I'll have to cross that bridge when it gets here. But for right now, I really do feel like we'll be able to go back in May. I just have a good feeling about it.
Okay. I didn't mean to bring you down a little bit on that. You were very positive to start this interview. How are you staying so positive?
I feel like it's a lot of my educational videos that I've been watching. I have to say, like last week, I was feeling a lot downer than what I have the whole time. I'm starting to feel a little better again. I think the rush of everything, that it was like, okay, look at all this time we have. I can do my fun stuff. I could do all these educational videos. I had so much I can do. And then it's like I finally crashed and ran out of things that I still had too many things I could do, but just not feeling like, what do I want to do? And so I feel like that kind of dragged me down a little bit, but yet I feel like it's just part of life. You got to have that little down to help yourself to go back up again. So you know that, oh yeah, okay. I probably just needed the break of just not thinking. So even it's hard to find something to watch on TV. You can't even make up you just like, oh, it needs to really catch your attention right away. And it's like, if it doesn't, I'm just wandering thoughts and you're just staring at your phone the whole time.
I've been there. Cool. Okay. Thank you so much. I think Jill asked you for pictures or anything you got to help us
Yep.
tell the story. Okay, good. Can we ask for one more thing?
Yeah.
Can you email me or Jill? Is there anybody at Paul Mitchell, like a contact? What I'd like to do is use some of their videos you talked about, just to see if we can, because we're going to be very video poor here, and so we want to try to tell the story the best we can. And I think that part about having the training videos helping you out, if we could use a little bit of that, so I'm going to ask them permission. If you have a contact over there.
Yeah, I don't know how I can do that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I can, our Monaco Blue distributor, maybe I can ask them if I can use them. Because even they won't do more than Paul Mitchell trainings too, but they did a lot of motivational things.